Welcome to The Lift with Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Come on in. There's always a special place set aside for you here where you can relax, kick up your heels, pour yourself a nice, refreshing drink, and prepare to be lifted and soar. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, and welcome back to The Lift with your auntie Sheila Robinson-Kiss. In the house. As you know, we have it all on this channel: mental health, movement, motivation, and the best relationship advice around. If you're loving what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe and share the news of the channel with your friends and family. It's just such a delight to share all of these messages with you. You know, I received a letter from Horace. I'm not going to read the letter. It was very emotional, but I'll give you some of the highlights. Horace found the courage to stand up for himself, and I applaud you for that. He ruffles some feathers, and let's just say, long story short, there were some people that did fly out of his life, probably for the best. But we all know, most of us, I would say, we've dealt with the pangs of isolation, if you will, loneliness, that adjustment period that happens inside of transition. So, Horace, I thank you for being the motivation to create this video message today: how to work with yourself during an episodic depression. A period of depression, episodic, is different than a clinical depression or an extended depression. In that instance, you really may need to work with a provider. Sometimes medication is indicated. I'm not particularly dealing with that brand of depression. Now, I'm talking about a depression brought on by a circumstance, an episode, a state of life, if you will. Episodic depression can be brought on by relationship change or relationship hiccups, something negative or undesirable happening in that domain. Transition can bring about episodic depression, depending on what it is: illness, loss, rejection. I mean, you name it, all manner of things. But if one could say, you know, what's my favorite kind of depression, I would choose episodic, because it means it's an episode. You can identify that, yeah, this sucks right now, but at the same time, I'm moving through it. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Like, readily, I can see light. It's just something that's upsetting to my mind, body, spirit, soul for a moment. So I want to give you very specific information in this video to work with yourself. All of the videos I do, the messages have to do with learning to work with yourself and your emotions and all that life can bring you. Because if you don't learn the skill set, life can eat you up. And I've seen it just eat people alive. And quite frankly, the body of work and all of you mean so much to me, because I know the difference when you are able to pull yourself aside and say, all right, we got the tools. This has occurred, but back to my Bob the Builder analogy, let me see which tools are going to be best suited for me to move through this period successfully. So there's 3 things I want you to keep in mind if you're dealing with an episodic depression. These items will work for you. This formula, if you work it, will work for you. Step number 1, very critical that you manage the period, the episodic depression, with intention, and give it a name. What do I mean by that? I'm just a firm believer. Dancing around things, denying what's going on, it's not helpful, because it's going to hook you. You have to spend so much energy just denying what's going on. Own it. Okay, but here's the nuanced part. When you own it, the language that you use within yourself is so critical. So you can own it by saying, you know what? I hit it's a little bump in the road. Okay, just passing through. A little friction, but I'm going to be fine. That's language. That's the language of levity, not denial. I'm not telling you to deny it or asking you to deny it, but what's the point in, oh, mercy, Lord, I'm going through a depression. Somebody's help me. I'm about to fall back. Oh, the boulder is bowling me over. I'm drowning in the sea. That you're giving it a name, but you're also programming the experience to be uncomfortable, to be long, to be torturous. So we operating with intentionality, but at the same time, you know what? Okay, this is what we're dealing with. I'm moving through. Period. I'm on, I'm in my car. I'm driving out of the darkness. So any language that owns it, but also creates a sense of levity, because with that spirit of depression comes a heaviness, and whatever we can do to give some ventilation, some air, boy, just with that step right there, I mean, you are just speeding out of what I call the dip zone. I'm not big on, I'm feeling depressed. It's a dip. It happens. Go up, go down. It's a dip. I'll be good. Okay. So we want to own it with intention. And number two, this is important, to take an inventory. Take an inventory of what you're working with, meaning your tools, and how you're going to work with them. What you're working with and how you're going to work the situation. What do I mean by that? So when I find myself in a little dip or a valley, I'm going to give you the tools I deal with. This whole channel is nothing but filled with hundreds of tools. If you haven't looked at the videos, go back, because it's just nothing but tool after tool. So for me, primarily, I'm working with the tool of prayer. That is a tool. Maybe you've never heard it described that way, but it is a powerful mental health tool. Recently made a video about the power of working with the patron saint of impossible situations, St. Jude. What a wonderful gift to give yourself, to know that that energy serves as a resource for you every day of your life. Powerful. Secondly, the second thing I do is I make sure, particularly when I'm experiencing a dip, I'm working with my emotional freedom technique. That's the tapping. You can go on YouTube and find many tutorials, walk you right through it. It's very powerful for a physical grounding. I also make sure I'm working with my emptying out every day. That's where, verbally, whatever's on my heart or spirit, I just get it outside of myself and I'm dealing with it. I love to work with the tool of gratitude because it shifts my focus from lack to abundance. As soon as I write, it could be the smallest entry. Oh my God, I'm reminded of what I have versus what I'm lamenting about or what I don't have. These are tools, very powerful tools. And then one that I'm going to show you right now. What you're looking at is a picture of the vision board that I work with every day of my life. I stand in front of this for 3 minutes. Why do the vision board if you're not going to take advantage of the vision? I stand in front of it so I memorize. It becomes part of my muscle memory, what I'm focused on, what I'm working on, what I want to create in this life. So, but when I'm experiencing a dip, I make sure I stand in front of it for 7 to 10 minutes. It's like, girlfriend, oh no, a little bit of a derailment. This is what it's about. This is where your focus needs to be. This is what you're manifesting. Do you remember? Look at this picture over here. Look at this word over here. Soak it in real nice. And it's just, the images are powerful and they just snap me back. They snap me back. And the beautiful thing about a vision board and working with it in this way, it's just emblazoned on my spirit. So I'll be driving, that vision board comes to me. It's the reason, those images where you see the lady doing the Pilates and the yoga on the board. It's the reason I get up. I think about that image And the beautiful thing, our mind wants to complete images. How we program it, our spirit wants to complete images. So get a handle on the tools you're working and work your tools. All of this stuff works if you work it. It's a muscle memory. And oh, I did it. You did it once. Oh, I tried it. You tried it twice. These are things that you want to drill down and make a part of you. That is what strength is. That's what life is. Oh, she's a strong person. She's using tools. Most people don't pop out of the womb with, wisdom, strength. We cultivate it. We collect it over the years, over time. It's a muscle. And that's why you have people you see over time. Look, that's not even my thing or what I'm about. It's just so sharp and so clearly defined who they are and what they're about. They don't fall into these lengthy states of lament. That's a muscle. That's a muscle that they worked. And then lastly, this is really important. It seems simple, but it's not. It's the heart and soul of managing an episodic depression. It is making a decision and drawing a line in the sand. I like to make this decision and declaration out loud. It's something to the effect of, you don't have to use my words, but find your own way to say, this state is not representative of who I am and what I'm about. This is not a state that I choose to stay in. I'm processing, I'm moving out. It's like, this is not my favorite place to visit, but I know how to drive in and drive out. It's that kind of thing. It's a declarative statement from the soul that my life, because it's raised vibration, because it's elevated, because I've invested that work and time, or I'm investing that kind of time and I'm building up that kind of muscle memory. My vibration is too high. It won't hold. It won't hold any depressed or oppressed states. I have no other choice but to elevate out of here. That's how I roll. That's my decision. That's how I do the thing. And so it's a decision and an attitude and an energy force field. And when that all comes together, what you will see yourself doing day by day, one of my favorite phrases, boot, scoot, and boogie. You will see yourself, whoo, I feel better. Whoo, I got a second win. I got a third win. Whoo, my mind is not over here, hither and yon. And so the episodic depression, you want to manage it tight with intentionality, and you see the eye on the prize. I'm going to say again, you never heard me one time say go into denial, deny what's happening. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work, because we go through things, and in so many ways, from a spiritual sense, they demand to be processed. It's an energy saying, I need some attention here. I need you to note a couple things. And I think when you ignore that energy just sticks around. But when you see it and when you own it, you're in a position to move out of it powerfully. And, we talk about the clinical, the practical on this channel, but I'm doing you a grave disservice if I don't always come back and talk to you about the power of positive spirituality, the power of creating allyship and bonding with the Lord, with your angels. You could do this trip alone if you wanted to. Maybe it's a thumbs up. I don't know. That's just definitely not my orientation. I am a woman who shares this with you because I've witnessed the power and the magnitude when you bring in that allyship of let's call it the spiritual family and support that's available to all of us. You will see signs come through, discernment through dreams. Your continence becomes calmer. If there are, psychic attacks or emotional attacks, you move through those in a different way because you know that support is there. And beyond that, you know how to access it and use it. So episodic depression is not something that needs to just completely move in and take over your life. Get a hold of it, do it with intentionality, and just, make some key decisions. Like, these are the aspects of my life that I have to keep lifted. I'll reference a video I did on this years ago. It's called Depressed and Productive. Imagine that. If you enjoyed this one, you're going to want to jump into the archives and take a look at that one too. So again, it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you. If you're loving what I'm doing, please don't forget to subscribe, share the news of the channel with your friends and family, and I'll be back real soon with some more elevation. Thank you.